The night before I leave for the field is the last day of school for a kid, last day before summer vacation.
Coming out here and collecting the fossils is the most exciting thing I can do.
I love seeing the painted rocks, the stripes of color, and digging in and finding the fresh rocks.
There's the walking over the next hillside that you haven't seen that's kind of keeps you coming back.
I'm not sure there's anywhere else in this country or perhaps in the world where there's such a continuous geologic section exposed.
Or maybe it's cracking the rock open and hoping that there's going to be a really great fossil inside.
So that's one thing I start thinking about before I come out, thinking about getting to these rocks, getting out here where it's really dusty and hot, but you get to see these beautiful landscapes. The sky is always changing.
I look forward to it every year to come out into this wonderful, beautiful area, and at the same time know that you're going to find exceptional fossils year after year after year.
Just by looking at things from the top of the Bighorns down to the basin, you're seeing the entire geological history of the Earth sitting right here in front of you.
When I come out to the Bighorn Basin every summer, I bring with me a group of people who, some may have never even left Cincinnati. So to come up to the mountains, to come out to the high desert plains is a real experience for them.
They learn how to do the archaeology, they learn how to excavate, how to map, how to preserve things in the field, how to keep track of things.
As I think about what people are experiencing for the first time here, many of these folks have come out with no experience whatsoever, and we're throwing them into what for many will be the chance of a lifetime, to excavate a dinosaur quarry, to work on dinosaur bones. But we're giving those kids a real opportunity to develop their interest in science and then maybe take it further as they go on in their education.
This being a reasonably remote area, you also learn how to live in the field. It's not like you go home and take a shower every day. It's not like you have all the water you need to spare because it has to be hauled up that road that we drove up on.
We drive out through the plains. Here we're out in kind of by ourselves, camping out in the desert, and it's a real thrill for a lot of people, brand new experience.
One thing that's amazing about the Bighorn Basin is that we have so many different time periods preserved, so you can study lots of geologic history here. There's so many different things that you can study here that it's really kind of an unbelievable place in that regard.
And for us, this is the most exciting puzzle you could have. I like to think of it as a four-dimensional jigsaw puzzle without a picture to go by.
A lot of that stuff is visible on the surface. In some instances it is buried, which has its own benefits for archaeologists because it preserves things that surface sites would not have preserved.
So in order to learn more, you got to get in there and look.
Part of what keeps me coming back is the joy of exploring a place that's still not fully explored, even in spite of all the effort that has been put into it by myself and lots of other people.
Each one of us has our own thing. So we talked to Glenn Storrs, and he's up there working in the Cloverleaf and digging out dinosaurs.
Well, as a paleontologist, I'm not going to make my fortune digging up bones or, teaching kids about science. But what I am hoping to do is leave a legacy for future generations. We're uncovering bits of the past.
You can go out with an idea, a hope that you're going to find a particular thing, and you may find it and you may not. But you can be guaranteed you're going to find something of interest every year, and you're going to learn something new that you didn't know before based on these new fossils that you find every year, because there are fossils everywhere.
Sometimes the best things you find are on the last day, and you leave and you just think, oh, there's so many more things to do. There's so many more fossils to find. There's so many more outcrops to look at, so many more rocks to study.
This is a fantastic place to be working. I know we have difficult conditions at times. It can get very hot, it's very dry out here, but the changing lighting, the dramatic scenery, it really is wonderful. So I have members of my crew who've been coming out just to relive it every summer.
This Bighorn Basin has an ability to help us understand the history of the Earth and the history of the organisms that have lived on the Earth, and how learning more about the rocks and the fossils is a really great route to developing your own understanding of who you are.